What's up? What's happening? What's going on? Back with my thoughts. K Mega 45 coming to you live from the 405. Happily from the 405. Let's go, Thunder. What's happening? What an incredible win. Anyway, well, K Mega 405 coming live from 405, where I am just your regular gamer talking to the intelligent gamers out there. Man, we have some things to discuss. Um, pretty wild stuff after I got off of the stream yesterday. And it was pretty wild to see like later on that night. It was just a wild night altogether. I wasn't expecting to see my Thunder put them hands on the Cavs like that. Just shows that these young pups is serious. They're the real deal. What's going on with the ocular fan? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Yeah, I got to where you can see it. I had to switch back. I had to switch back until I could get something done with so I can show you guys when y'all post something. But yeah, some wild information gaming wise regarding PlayStation. This is why we're gonna have to talk about some PlayStation here a little bit. Um, I, man, I it just I don't know, man. So much of what I said yesterday. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, but so much of what I've been alluding to about how like how Xbox stands they're always in doom and gloom, and how PlayStation stands are always delusional. I mean, last night just kind of personified exactly what I was talking about. Like, it was all about the doom and gloom most of the day yesterday. Then all of a sudden, PlayStation gamers or stands or content creators, they were all up in arms about Xbox games coming to them, and then all of a sudden the bottom broke out for PlayStation with all that news that came out, and as usual, the gaming media ain't really talking about it. It's pretty crazy to me. It's pretty crazy. But other than that, before I get into talking about PlayStation, and I see a lot of problems, I've been talking about what PlayStation needs to do. Of course, um, they're not going to listen to me, but it's just a suggestion because what they got going on going into this generation is just not popping. But before that, just quickly, I just wanted to kind of point out something that I seen from the gaming media talking about the Switch too. We just talked about the announcement yesterday. And it sounded like it was going to be pretty interesting. There was some more news about it. I basically thinking it was going to be like 1440p undocked. So from some report that's out there that we don't know if it's official yet or whatever, but they were saying it was going to be undocked 1080p 2K. If when it is docked, it's going to be $399 retail without the tariffs. If it is with the tariff, it's going to be $499. So that's going to be pretty interesting right there as well. Now, I mean, I should have put it in perspective about seeing 1080p since it was 720p undocked. So I mean, and then I guess it was like 1080p when it was docked or whatever. So yeah, it visually is going to look better. But anyway, I've seen this from Eurogamer. It was pretty crazy to me. Go ahead and put this up. Where they talked about right here, they were just saying what happened to the company that used to surprise people. See, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you said what happened today? Oh yeah, no, it happened last night with regardless of what happened with PlayStation and the chaos that news that came out. And like I said, the gaming media is not addressing that. I'm going to get into that in full detail here a little bit later, but I wanted to try to address this first about this. And see, this is why the gaming media just kind of irks me. It really does, because I mean, I get it. I think this is an opinion piece, but it's like, why Nintendo is in its own lane, and why would not Nintendo sit there and why would they want to do something outside the box when one of the last things that they just sold more consoles than, whatever the hell you want to call a Switch, sold more than the PlayStation 2. of course you're going to go back to that bag, and of course it's enhanced more than it was. It act like that, from this article, it comes out to make it sound like that they just only wanted to that they just were being too conservative. They didn't want to do too much. They didn't want to do this, do that. We don't know what all the features is on this console yet. We don't know what's going on with the Switch 2. I'm sure that they're going to have more innovations to it. It's not just going to be the same thing. I think that they will add more things to it as well. I mean, it's going to be a more powerful device. It was kind of crazy though. In that leak, they were bringing up the fact that there was going to be a couple of more. There was going to be a game like when I brought up Tekken 8, Elden Ring. Didn't see anything about Xbox games or anything of that nature. And I didn't see anything, like I said, about Call of Duty or anything like that. But there was Tekken 8, Elden Ring, and there was going to talk about remaster for Breath of the Wild, things like that. So I mean, that's a good look. I mean, and if it's going to be $400. Because I don't think that there's going to be any tariffs that's going to be dropping this year. I think if the tariffs do happen, it's going to be 2026 and later. I think that they won't implement that. If they implement it in the next 100 days of the next administration, I still think that will take time to enact. So I don't think that that'll take effect until at least maybe after, if it does within the 100 days of this year, then it'll be towards the end of the year. And so I think anything that's coming on after that would be cooked. And then from what also the leak said that it would be, I think it was 605, or it would be the 27th of the 6th month of the 27th of the 6th month of the year. If it would, when they were saying that it was going to drop. Now that part we don't know. Like I said, some of the games that they brought up, I'm pretty sure that those were true about Elden Ring and about Tekken 8, and of course there'll be Call of Duty and there'll be other games on there. So I mean, the console itself is already powerful enough to do what it needs to do. What I'm over here just having the problem with, we don't know what all this console is going to do. We don't know what the Switch 2 is going to bring to the table. And you're bitching and complaining and saying it's not more powerful in this article. It's also bringing up a point of just saying like it's just not enough innovation. I want Nintendo to surprise us. Okay. Anyway, this is why I only go for certain places and certain sites only just because I want to get enough information. There's other places that I usually go for other information. There might be some people that I might hit up and talk to, or I might be in a group with some people and get some more information and things like that. I mean, sometimes but me just going all in on the gaming media like I used to, I don't. It annoys the hell out of me. I just find it just like this to me is more of a bitching campaign than more is about celebrating gaming. I don't understand this. Like, when did it come about the needs of just what you want and not what the overall demographic of gamers want? That's what a journalist is supposed to do, is just bring the news, let the gamers decide. And of course, like I said, this seems like, from what I was reading from it seemed like an opinion piece, but it seemed like it was just more complaining than it was celebrating the fact that the Switch is successful. The Switch is bringing another iteration, because if in most cases, if Xbox gamers, we would have wanted an Xbox 360 than what the Xbox One was. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of PlayStation gamers that's going to sit there and wish that they had especially during the PlayStation 3 generation, that they wish that they had something more like the PlayStation 2 than they did the PlayStation 3. And maybe when we're talking about what's going on with the PlayStation 5, they would probably want something that's more closer to what the PlayStation 4 was overall for what they got for the generation. So I just don't see, like, if something is successful, it doesn't have to go completely left. I know Nintendo do go completely left, but I mean, if it's as successful as it's been, why would they change it? Why would they move around? Why would they do anything like that to completely alienate and not learn their lesson of what they did with the success of the Wii, and then they did this thing with the Wii U? I don't know. Like I said, like I don't know. Some of these people act like they just got into gaming and they just want to talk about it. It is pretty crazy. It is pretty crazy. What's going on with you, sir? Sir X-Men? Yes, sir. Blah, 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 blah. but yeah, no, I thought that little part was crazy. I'll get back to showing some more stuff with some graphs and stuff like that. But first, I want you to see me over here fighting for my life over here on this. I played some more of this game before I got started on the stream. Um, I, I say that I'm not a big fan of it. I'm thinking I'm okay, but I played 2 hours of it. So I mean, I played 2 more hours of this game. I mean, I got past the first boss and all that stuff, and like I said, you'll see me getting cooked, a few times, especially as it's according to how long I talk or whatever. And if I show the other stream that I had because it cut off, and then I restream some other stuff. I mean, recorded the other half of what I did. You'll see me, and you can see how my gameplay. I get real frustrated and I get really aggressive. So but yeah, no, I mean, it's not a bad game. I just still don't think that it's a game that I'm going to get day one for the price. I don't. It's not a bad game at all. It's fun. I am not a big Souls guy. It does have a kind of a. It reminds me a little bit of certain things of like when you add your armor. You get stronger. You can go back and you can fight the enemies again, and then you can get different little perks and things like that. So that's kind of Black Mythish, Black Myth Wukong ish a little bit, to where it makes it where when you go against the enemy, it makes them a little bit easier to beat, especially when you get your armor and your weapons and they're upgraded. You can add more damage. So it isn't to where it's like it is unforgiving at moments for sure, but there's other moments where it's not. And so, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed it today, yesterday. So I get that's a positive. I'm just not going to get this game day one. I just not for that price. I'm just not. I'm still not there for that. But yeah, no, it's a cool game. It's not bad at all. Um, Let me read what Oculus said. He says the Wii U is what the Switch should have been. It was similar to the Switch, but they just couldn't execute well. And then the Switch came out and they executed it well. Absolutely right. And so now what you do is that you evolve what is successful into the Switch 2. And then at that point, once the Switch 2 is over with, and if Nintendo wants to kind of go left about something, then absolutely do what you got to do. But at this point right now, do not sit there and go into this place and completely flip the script with something you'll just do the Wii U situation again. And that put a lot of damage on Nintendo. That not only put damage on the name, it had all the speculation of people were thinking that Nintendo was dead and was gone, it was not going to come back, all this other type of stuff. So it just didn't make any sense to not want this, to not want the Switch to be this new iteration of what Nintendo is going to be bringing isn't similar with just more enhancements and being better. Because at the end of the day, it's more about the games. Like I said, I just wanted to touch on this for a hot second because I just thought that I always go back to how old game media used to operate. They would give you, there would be times that they would give you their initial thoughts, but at the beginning of when they're announcing something, it's always about, listen, this is what this is what this does. This is how these things work. This is what the games is going to be on it. This is the price. You decide what you decide at that point. And yes, everything within gaming is positive. Like, I mean, the negative stuff is more for people in chats and stuff like that. This is here just celebrating gaming. Now it's like, I mean, we got an opinion piece that's talking about like Nintendo didn't surprise me, and you got a unhappy face, and I'm just kind of like, what has happened to the gaming media to that point to where they feel that it's that their opinion pieces means more than the actual uh, sanctity and beauty of gaming as a whole. Like, I mean, it's they will do more criticizing than they do more praise, in my opinion, unless it's only a certain type of genre of game, a certain type of company, blah blah blah. But yeah, that was just my whole point about that. Cali Rex, what does he say? He said, what's the gameplay screen so blurry? He said, why the gameplay screen so blurry? I have no idea. I don't know. It's looking clear on my end. I don't know why it would be blurry. If it is blurry, please let me know. Please let me know in the chat. So, It's showing crystal clear on my end, but again, I mean, I'm showing from my feed. Um, well, I probably need to upgrade it so I can get it to 1080p because it's at 720p, but it's not because it's showing it's going to 720 output. Now, if I show the gameplay from if I'm working from OBS, I can push it all the way to 4K, but I don't. I just do 1080p. Because I mean, there's a lot of people that do have maybe monitors and TVs and stuff like that that pushes the 4K, but then that's a resource hog, and then that's other stuff. If I want to try to show other things and whatever, but PC can handle it, but it's unnecessary. It's overkill in my opinion. But yeah, no. If the gameplay is blurry, please let me know in the chat. But maybe Cali Rex, maybe it's your screen that's blurry or your eye. So what I'm saying, so that's what it is. But anyway, but like I said, it's looking good and crisp over here. I mean, with the feed, but I have no idea. I'll sit there and I'll go back and I'll look at it once we're done. But yeah, no, like I said, I'll upgrade this. I wanted to test this out, this other area where I'm at here to see how everything operates, because I like how this operates better. But I mean, I'm more familiar with what goes on OBS more so than here. So I still want to tinker on here and learn other stuff here and stuff like that. But anyway, so I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I like both things. You'll see me flip it, when I'm doing these my thoughts from OBS using this and blah 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 the third. But anyway, let's move on to talk about Xbox, because PlayStation is going to be last. I'm going to talk about PlayStation last because I got a lot to say, and and of course, and I'm not going to mince any words, but I'll get to PlayStation here last. But I want to talk about Xbox here next. Now, see, again, it's just like what I was bringing up yesterday about how Xbox gamers, the doom and gloom, this and that, the third, there was more stuff going on. The media likes to keep on talking about, is this game going to PlayStation? Is this game going this? Is they going third party? Blah, 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 blah. Then they come out and then the 48% in Europe, and then the Xbox Series S and X is getting it's 5-1 in the UK and all that other crazy stuff, right? And it was just like I was trying to explain to you guys yesterday, that if you keep on playing and talking about the numbers game, you're going to find yourself just more aggravated instead of enjoying what you own at the end of the day. And so then we get this report that came last night as well with the PlayStation stuff about or yesterday, the evening time, that Xbox quarterlies or whatever it was called or whatever. Let me go ahead and try to get to it. It's where it shows right here. Okay, so Derek Strickland, he posts something about where Xbox's Activision contributes $7.4 billion within the year. Let me go here and get to it. Hopefully you'll see me when I finally kill that damn bear, but if not, that's fine. Okay, right here. All right, so Activision made up to 32% of full year revenues. Xbox made $15.8 billion in post Activision revenue. Activision contributed $7.42 billion. Now, again, there's always people that's making it like right here, this person right here. Actually, $7.2 billion revenue is less than what Activision generated prior to Microsoft's acquisition. There's always going to be those people. There's always going to be it's a $79 billion purchase. Of course, that they didn't acquire. They didn't, whatever. And then it's only just a portion of this. This is the second quarter. This is the second quarter going to from where it says right there, it says from 2024, from the first quarter to 2025. And so when you look at this and you're saying, okay, look, all right. Look at the situation of what they've done off of just what they've been available. I mean, it's just now been a year after Xbox has officially acquired ABK. And already just off of what, 2 games, 3 games, a couple of games, just especially really what this revenue is coming from is from Call of Duty and from Diablo mostly, right? And maybe the WoW stuff that the expansions of the WoW stuff. But just think about that from just that perspective of well, see again, where this dude right here, Oliver, is over here talking about, well, that's just not, they're up. They're not down. See, when you see people that keep on bringing up the stuff about, well, if Xbox did, that's all that they, and then there was more stuff in there where they were saying, well, if this is all that they get out of, they haven't even brought out all of their portfolio from Activision yet. I mean, we haven't even seen all of the Call of Duties that's going to be enacted not only into Game Pass, but that will be available for sale again, and for the rumors of Transformers and other games that Activision had at that time, like the Ultimate Alliances and all that other stuff. You don't think people are not going to buy them, or not going to participate, or not going to get, or not going to add Game Pass for a couple of more months, or maybe another year or whatever, to not play those old classic games or buy them? I mean, that just don't make any sense. Like, sometimes the logic is just like what I was saying yesterday about when you seen the stands bringing up the fact about, oh, wait a minute, because Xbox did not get that extra 5%, they're losing. And though Xbox gets 70% of what PlayStation owners that buy Call of Duty get, that 70% goes to Xbox. It doesn't go to PlayStation. They get 30%. But for some reason, that 30% helps them more than it helps Xbox. And then just think about this from just the other perspective. It's 100% for each Xbox gamer that buys Call of Duty. If they don't buy Call of Duty, they can go ahead and they can do the $30 upgrade thing. And if they don't do that, they can have Game Pass. And then they can just, like, again, Xbox is generating money from every different direction. Let's say that they don't even own an Xbox and they go ahead and they got it on PC. Well, that's 70% of Xbox getting that revenue. So again, when you look at that and when you see that that's mostly really those 2 or 3 games right there that where Xbox is getting that, and that's not even the whole portfolio, that's telling you something. And the numbers has gone up. So it's kind of crazy to me how people keep continuing to keep bringing up that Xbox is not, what's going on with you, the blue? That Xbox is somehow, that this ABK deal is not working for them. Trust me, right now, PlayStation would love to have had this ABK money. See, it's, I don't know, man. So that's what I try to tell gamers out here, try to tell you guys, who cares about this at the end of the day? This is good stuff to talk about just to prove a point. But at the end of the day, I'd rather talk about the games. I don't give a damn about what Xbox is making, but it's just a point to prove, like, look, that over there on that side, they care more about this revenue and they care about the pockets of these trillion billion-dollar companies than they do about what's going on with what's happening in with your entertainment. This ain't entertaining to me, but I mean, I just wanted to point this out. I just thought that this was crazy that within that time frame, they're already generating, the full year revenue or whatever is up 30 is made 32%, maybe 15.8 for that. We're talking about billion. That's a lot of damn money. And just think about this: for every time that an Xbox gamer, see, and again, like when I was making the discussion, when we were talking about the ABK, and of course, like I said, the sinister side of me would love for Xbox to say, yeah, no, it's exclusive. Call of Duty is exclusive. Deal with it. But then when you look at it from a business standpoint, why would you take that away from those gamers? And especially, why would you leave money on the table? Like, because they would still be pissed off and not buy an Xbox. Some people wouldn't. A lot of people would, but then most people wouldn't, because of the fact that they were like, ah, man, well, I'll just play something else. And that leaves potential of not getting growth for Game Pass. Now that does leave opportunities for people to go and get maybe want to get a PC or something of that nature or whatever, and then get PC Game Pass or whatever. But it's still, why would you take that away from gamers when you could still make so much money hand over fist? And for every time, for every PlayStation gamer that goes in and buys a skin off of COD, that money is going to Xbox. That's a win, bro. That is a win. I don't get this. So again, let me read what Callie's saying right here. He said, I think those rumors are going to be rumors. Microsoft won't go back to old licensed games when they have their own IPs that they can focus. No, no. I've heard too much. I've heard too much that they are going to do it. It's not rumors. They're going to do it. It's just going to be it's just going to, they're just looking at the right opportunity and right time. I did, when you go back and try, because I mean, just think about this. What's the best way to try to get other old IPs to make new IPs now that you own these IPs, right? Is to bring out the older versions of these games and see what generates a buzz. So, for instance, if Marvel Alliance is doing something, of course you got to deal with Disney, but then yet this is one of those things to where you could go ahead and say, oh, you know what, Disney, let's go ahead and let's work a deal. And that could happen. And just think about the growth of what those games could do. And even if, let's just say that they won't bring back the Transformers or they won't bring back Marvel Alliance, they will be bringing back the CODs. We are, you know what I'm saying? You can still play all the CODs now today. I own them damn near all except for the one that came out that was just Battle Royale only. I was like, no, I'm not a Battle Royale guy. So but all the rest of them I own, except for maybe one from back in the PlayStation 1 generation. You know what I'm saying? So why not have them in the Xbox portfolio so gamers can go ahead and just jump in and play all those old classics, have an old COD night to where people could just play all the different CODs, you have this mindset of what PlayStation won't do. One thing that Phil Spencer and all them said is that they want game preservation. They think that it's important to have older games to play, not only to just make its remakes and remasters and things like that, but to have some of those old games. They still have, remember, Phil Spencer and them are old PC guys. So and that's what one thing that the PC community is always, that I give them the utmost respect for, is that they do believe into older games still having life. So, I mean, and that's one of the reasons why some of us to this day, we mess with stuff like emulators and others that so when those old games are gone and dead and you can't have any access to them, that you can still you can go back and you can play those old games. So I don't agree. I don't agree with that at all. I've heard too much to not believe that they're not going to bring some of those old games back. But I mean, if you're right, then I'll definitely let you know that you were right and say that I was wrong. He says this is good for Xbox. Doesn't mean anything for Xbox consoles, pretty much. No, you're right. And that's the thing, though. We have to. I addressed this yesterday about the console aspect of it. People make it seem like that Xbox, the difference between Xbox One sales at this moment in time compared to the Series S and X Xbox sales is substantial. It's only like 4 to 7 million difference. Now that is, a million is a lot of numbers, a lot of people or whatever, but it's not as substantial as what somebody would think that maybe, like it was with the 360 compared to the Xbox One. Like their Xbox One was stuck at like 13 million for I don't know how long. It seemed like for almost 2 years before it picked back up. And I think a lot of that was because they dropped the price. And it was because they had a couple of games that came out at that time as well too. But I think it was more so about the price. And compared to, with the 360 was constantly selling. So it's a big difference. So it's not, I mean, it's not a big difference and people are making too big of a deal about it. I can understand if it was a $25 million difference, to where that, between the Xbox One and the Series S and X, it's not that. And PlayStation is down too. PlayStation is not where they were at this time in the 49th month. So I mean, consoles are just down, and consoles will remain to be down. It's not going to get higher, people. It's just not. Will it get a bump? It will get a bump when the new consoles come out. When the new Xbox come out, there'll be people that'll jump on it. When the new PlayStation comes out, there'll be people jump on it. But I just don't ever see any PlayStation catching the PlayStation 4. It never will catch the PlayStation 2, but it won't catch the PlayStation 4. I don't see Xbox ever catching the 360. And I think that's just the reason why the Xbox is doing what they're doing. But I just, there's something else that I wanted to show you too, which is pretty crazy. Let me back out of that. Scroll down. Right here. Okay, so somebody brought this up about what was going on in 2023, before it actually became the acquisition actually happened, or buyout, whatever you want to call it. Look at this where it says console, mobile, PC, and other. Now look at this. Okay, so console had a bump in 2020. I believe that's when in 2020 and 2021. That's when it's consoles are cheaper, and the new consoles come out between 21 and 20. I think it came out 2021. I can't remember now. But there's the bump. But look at 2019, and then you look at 2022. See. You know what I'm saying? Will it go up? I'm sure it'll go up, but will it? I can't wait to see the numbers after that. I can't wait to see what happens in 23, 24, 25. But to sit there and to get to, in 2020, that was the best that it has. But look at this right here. This is where I keep trying to remind people, this is why Xbox is making the move that they're making. Look at the growth of the mobile market. Mobile market is crazy. Look at this. Look at these numbers here in 2022. This is kind of showing you the evolution of what is going on between our generation and older generation gamers. Like, I'm a Gen X, and you might say I'm from a millennial on back, from Gen X to baby boomer, to if there's any older gamers because they would be really old. We're talking about almost 100 years old if they're part of the silent generation, or the greatest generation is also used to hear it as. But it's diminishing. And when you go and you look at the generations before, our kids and things like that, and our grandkids and stuff like that, man, listen, this is the reason why this is growing the way it is. And I wouldn't doubt if it wouldn't get bigger. Now, PC has kind of been steady at where it is. And I don't even know what other is. I have no idea. I don't know what the other could be. But so people in the chat, please let me know what you think the other is. But look at this. This is where it's at. And see, Xbox don't even have their games on mobile properly yet. They don't even have that rollout happening yet. They do have Call of Duty on mobile. That's doing good. But just think about the full lineup of what they're doing. They still don't even have games on Apple yet to be presented. So that's the thing to me that I'm looking at and I'm saying, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy. This is just telling right here to me. You know what I'm saying? PC looks down right now, but I think PC will go up because especially because there's more affordable hardware that's going to be out there. There's going to be the 40 series is going to get cheaper, and then more AMD stuff is going to get cheaper and stuff like that. So I think that'll go up. But PC has kind of been steady where it's at from this past point to this. But this right here is where it's just telling. This is nuts. This right here in 2022 tells you a lot. It tells me a lot. It should tell you a lot too. The game has changed. The game has changed, man. It's definitely changed. He said, I'm a proud guy. He said, let me read what some of you guys are saying. Hold on. He said, I'm Gen X and been moved to PC. Some of us are stupid. Hey, listen, I'm a Gen Xer. I you know what I'm saying? I'm cutting back on the console on one of the consoles. I'm not buying all three like I normally do. This, you know, what I'm saying, I'm you know, and like I said, PlayStation is the one that's going to be the one got cut. I will get the Nintendo, of course. The next Xbox, I'll get that. But yeah, no, PC has kind of been my substitute for the PlayStation now. And so, you know, I was, you know, so that's what. So I'm cutting back on that. And then again, like, you know, there's only going to be so many games that I'm going to buy on Nintendo. Like, and there's going to be a lot of um, a double, triple, quadruple, you know, buys of content like I used to, just because I was just just calling myself, because it used to be called as a gamer to do that type of stuff, and I'm just like, that's just not economically smart. You know, I mean, you play the games where you want to play them, and like again, I also want to speak with my wallet as well. Like, I understand that some companies, they, you know, some of these studios have budgets, but I think that the one budget that they got to include is crossplay. It's just something that needs to be in damn near every game. That if it has a multiplayer component, it has to have crossplay in some way, capacity, shape, or form. Because these games go to die when you buy them, when you separate them like that. Like you could tell, like you could go and you could tell, like Sparking Zero right now is doing well, but there's going to get to a point within that year that it's usually 6 months, 3 to 6 months with fighters. But since Sparking Zero is really, really popular, it's still going to do well. But let's just say something like Mortal Kombat, right? Let's just say Mortal Kombat didn't want to do crossplay. And it didn't do it for a long time. It just now started doing it later last year. But it hurts because, you know, if it's not playing as solid as it is on console, and if it's playing better on PC than it is on console, then, you know, I'm not double buying, triple buying, or things like that. Now, I did do that for Mortal Kombat because of the visuals. I just wanted to kind of see the difference in that, but I'm kind of backing off of that. So I just think that it's just smarter, economically smarter, just to sit there for these companies to understand that, listen, crossplay is very, very, very important. So anyway, but yeah, no, let's read some more here. Rich Chili, what's happening? He said, "Oh yeah," but he said he's a proud '80s baby. Thank you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't been here before, if you have checked it out, you know what I'm saying, subscribe. Jiggy's, like I said, I'm back to it. I did skip out on missing doing fight night last night because my old ass fell asleep. I was watching the Thunder game, and then I got caught watching the the Rockets Sacramento game, and it was really good. It went down to the wire. And then next thing you know, it was after 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, should I do it? And then I started getting tired because my sleeping patterns has kind of been off after I came from vacation. So I'm gonna have to make that up. I'm gonna stream tonight. I'm gonna do some fight night tonight. So anyway, of course I'm '70s baby, but that's all right to be an '80s baby. You're still part of Gen X. Well, I don't know. It's according to what year that you was born in the '80s. You might be a millennial. Anyway, he says Jux, he says they tried to handheld back when then and it didn't work. Remember with Othello. Listen, he's Gen X. I do remember it, but see, this is the thing. It's To me, it seems like it's just more popular than it's ever been. I know that Nintendo is kind of iced and held onto the market, but you see more and more people really, and like I said, in the chats that I'm in and in the groups and stuff that I'm in, that's really mostly what they talk about. Unless there's bigger news that's going on, they talk about the handhelds and the difference of the handhelds. And listen, I don't care about the handhelds, but it is there's a big market for it. And then just like what I'm showing you right here is when this graph of the difference, just anything that's mobile, it seems to be where the money is at. You know, the console aspect, yeah, it fluctuates, but you know, look at 2019, my goodness, and now you look at 2022. That's lower than all the rest of the years. So it doesn't, and I'm sure that it may have moved up in 2023, maybe. I mean, what 2021 was the pandemic year, wasn't it? So I don't know, man. This is kind of crazy to me. I think that it's we're at a place where Microsoft is already seeing the writing on the wall. PlayStation is now maybe starting to see the writing on the wall, and Nintendo doesn't have to really see the writing on the wall just yet because of the loyalty of their fan base and the fact that they've stayed away from the actual so-called console war aspect of it by picking and choosing what they want to do, not trying to drive the power narrative, not trying to get too cute with what they were doing like they did with the Wii U. They're just like, listen, the fans liked what we did with our previous console. Now we're bringing the same thing, but it's going to be more powerful, and we're going to have more features to it, and there'll be more games. So it's a winning ticket for them. Let's see what else. He said, it says Dutch. He said, Gishin, Wavering Wave, Zenless Zero, Zone Zero, Gishin Impact, Fortnite, COD, Asphalt, Candy Crush, Monopoly Go, Affinity Nikki. That's that game that I seen. I think it was Tryhard. Tryhard fan was showing off. Really beautiful looking game. And I mean, I'm like, that's a mobile game. That's crazy. I mean, it's not the type of game I would play, but it looks great. Minecraft, Roblox, and many others. He says, I wonder why mobile is doing so good. Right. Like that's it. Like, I mean, live service games is the lifeblood of gaming right now. And when Phil and others tried to signal this warning, I mean, like I've said this before a few times, where Amy Henny and Mark Cerny there was this interview, and they were bringing up the situation what's going on with single player games. Like, I mean, we'll talk about, like, all this will be part of what I'll bring up about PlayStation, but single player games is just in a weird position right now. And the lifeblood of these games, of the gaming sector right now, is live service multiplayer games. There's no question of it. You see it every time in the top 10 of the games that are the more important. That's just what it is. So that's just what it is, man. It's not even, I don't even understand why people would be acting up like this and try to make it into a situation where Xbox is failing. It's not, because out of their big three, they're all multiplayer games. They're, in a sense, almost a live service game, because Halo, doesn't matter how much you hate or love Halo Infinite, it is making money. It is making good. It's making a profit. Jazz and others has already elaborated that. They said that game is doing very well financially. Okay, I mean, think about this. They spent $500 million, or a quarter to over $500 million on that engine for Halo Infinite. Now they're finna start going to Unreal Engine 5. That isn't cheap, Jack. So obviously Halo Infinite has made enough money for them to sit there, to recoup them, to change, to go to Unreal Engine. So, Halo is doing fine. Gears is doing fine. Forza is doing amazingly fine. Maybe Motorsport doesn't always get the accolades or all the big numbers like Forza Horizon, but Forza Motorsport still does good enough. So I mean, it generates fantastic amount of money. Like, I mean, so I don't understand why people keep thinking that Xbox is in this peril. It's not. They're making money. They're making money, and they're making great money. And I think that what we should be thinking about is what next game are we going to be able to play, and what's this new console that we're going to be getting from Xbox. But other than that, that's one of that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about. But now we're going to get into what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about this PlayStation situation. PC is all I need. I'll probably get a Switch too, since I'll have actual exclusive. Consoles are pointless now. Listen, a console will never be pointless to me, because I mean I grew up off of them, so they'll always hold value to me. But the thing to me is where a lot of us as gamers, especially us who absorb gaming the way that we do, I think that we listen to too many people that tells us that our consoles are not valid or not valuable because of silly silly thoughts that because a game goes somewhere else, it still isn't valuable. That I mean, I fell for the trap in the beginning last year. I fell for the trap. I used to say, "Yo, it's bad," and now the more and more I think about it, like, really, do I really care? I mean, if this gives me, if there's crossplay and I get more opportunity to play with other gamers, with more gamers, okay, cool. I ain't tripping about it. It's not gonna. It. It's like I said before. When Xbox does this, and when PlayStation does this, when more and more of these games become more of a multi-plat, it's not going to cut off my Xbox. My Xbox is not automatically going to cut off because PlayStation might get an Xbox game that I wouldn't want the PlayStation gamers to get. I get that, but it's not going to cut off my Xbox. PlayStation, your PlayStation is not going to cut off when that one PlayStation game that you know and love, and you say, "Damn, what the hell Sony is doing?" It's not going to cut off your PlayStation. You're not going. You'll still be able to play your games and enjoy the whole thing. Like I understand that. I understand the whole thought of, well, you feel like your console's depreciated, or that these companies don't value your loyalty, but the loyalty is, are we going to keep on, are we still going to be paying for these games like we have been? Because you know what, we aren't. You know what I mean? Like for some of us maniacs out there, yeah, we buy games. We will buy a lot of games, but most people just don't have the income or the want to pay that type of money for games these days. So that's why games, services like Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, even though it's a redheaded stepchild of what Game Pass is, but I mean, it's still a good deal. You still get free games and Epic Store and what it does, and the deals that you get from Steam and other stuff. Like I become more of a a bargain shopper than I think I've ever have in my entire time as being a gamer. Like at normal times, I'm just like, man, I'll go get it. Damn, this is how much? All right, I'll cop it. Nah, I'm kind of like, now, man, I'll wait. Like just like I was just talking about in the beginning of the stream about this game here, Berserker. I'm playing this demo. I mean, I enjoy it, but I'm not paying $70 day one. I'm just not. If this was 50 day one buy, I think it's worth that. 60. If I got rewards points so I can sit there and knock it down to 50 or less, I'm copping. But 70, nah, I'm just not. So, and you might say that's only a $10 difference. That $10 can go to something else. That $10 could go on a skin on a game on like the First Descent, that a game that I put a lot of time in. So I just, or to another fighter that I play, or another character. Like let's say if I didn't have the ultimate pass for the ultimate edition for Street Fighter, and Mai is coming up here pretty soon, or for Mortal Kombat, Conan is about to drop here pretty soon. That $10 can go on Mai or on Conan, and maybe if it's priced right, then I might could get both. So that's my thing. To me, is where I just it's we have to sit there and say, we talk about loyalty, right? And these companies don't owe us anything except give us a product that's worth a damn and the things of that nature. But if they bring us a really good product, right, and we don't show support for it, then I'm sure that they look at us as like, whoa, where's y'all loyalty at? Because we might drop a really good game, but then yet y'all not supporting us. Or we might be dropping a really, really good piece of hardware and you're not supporting us. Now, if you're asking for too much money, then that could be a factor and things like that. But that's my whole point of that. Like, I just think that the whole exclusive conversation is becoming more and more overblown to me. I know the importance of it. As a traditionalist, I don't want certain exclusives to go anywhere. But if it does, then hell, the cat's out the bag. And then I just got to deal with it just how I'm going to deal with it. It's like I said a million times, I'm not leaving Xbox if Halo is on PlayStation. I'm going to say, ugh, but that's as far as it's going to be. And then, like I said, let it get over there and let me go ahead and get that cross play, because I will turn on that cross play like I do with any other game that I play. And I'm getting ready to go. I'm going to be cooking a whole bunch of PlayStation dudes. I promise you that. And if they had brought Halo to Nintendo, I'm cooking them too. So I'll be like, okay, shit, I'm going to get my my score, my rank up. So I mean, so it is what it is. I'm kind of becoming more and more accepting of it. Still don't like it, but I'm still becoming more and more accepting of it, just for the mere fact of just bracing myself, I guess you would say. Um, but that's a good point. If you feel that way, then that's fine. But you know, it is what it is. Just look at Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That lighting is 10 times. That lighting is 10 times better on PC than play. Yeah, oh man, who you telling? I'm copping that. I'm copping that. When it drops, I think it comes out next week. Something like that. Yeah. So I'm copping it. Yeah. I that's the reason why I didn't get the PlayStation 4 version or the PlayStation 5. Well, I mean the PlayStation 5 version. I mean, I didn't. I just for what? When I have a 4080, when I know this thing is going to give me a hell of a lot more than what the PlayStation 5 would do, or what the PlayStation Pro will give. So so no, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's my reason why I'm doing that. Let me see what my brother Fahim is saying. He says Mega was in an old man coma. You must be talking about when I said I went to bed early or whatever. Yeah, bro. I was getting ready to do Fight Night, and man, I got tired. I was like, man. So anyway, um, let me hear what my man said right here. General Spartan, 27. He said, I'm a millennial. I was born in 1988. Yes, you are a millennial. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Callie back, he said, Nintendo has that nostalgia from kids who grew up watching Pokemon and playing the DS, aka my gen. Right. Like that. Well, again, like then that was one of the things that when I was talking earlier about Nintendo and what they were bringing up about how in that opinion piece where he was complaining that Nintendo is not reinventing itself again, or what it's just kind of staying stagnant. I mean, that was one of his complaints, was like they're catering to 40-year-old men and women 40-year-old gamers that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, finally, you're starting to understand the people who is birthed gaming, who gave gaming life, are important. It's not all about what you are. Like, there was some young person that was over here bringing up this whole complaining factor or whatever about why Nintendo isn't doing this and that. They're old enough, of course, but again, like I'm trying to figure out. Like, listen, you go where your toast is buttered. And yes, those 40, those 30, 40, you know what I'm saying, something gamers out there that love Pokemon and love Mario and so forth and so forth. Yeah, they're loyal. They're loyal. They'll always be loyal. He says, you know why mobile games are great? I can fully play Genshin Impact on my Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and phone. Real local game and nothing of that cloud crap. See, again, that's another factor right there why Xbox, I feel that Xbox and what they're doing, it's smart. It is smart as hell. It is the future of where gaming is going. It's no different than when I was having this discussion with gamers about digital content. And how digital content was the devil, and it was bad, and I'm always going to hold on to my physical content and things like that, and there's still people that still talk like that today. But man, all you got to do is look at how the market is moving, and the market is the people, and the people have spoken. 90+% of gamers out there prefer digital than they do of hard copy games. And I know that pisses some people off, but it's the reality of that. It's convenience. It's no different than having a cassette tape, which cassette tape was cool, right? But this damn thing kicked my ass the first couple of times. It was cool, right? But do you really want to go back? And for some of you youngins that may be listening that never really dealt with a cassette tape, like, yeah, it was cool back then, yeah, just for the nostalgia purpose. But man, I don't want to pull out my pen or my pencil or something when part of the tape comes out and I'm trying to roll it back. Or if you rewind or something, you press rewind on your on your thing. And on your cassette player or whatever, and all of a sudden the stuff goes haywire and it comes out, and you got to roll all that stuff in, and you got to be gentle with it because you don't want to snap the stuff. The stuff was pretty was pretty tough. The material was pretty tough, but sometimes if you was rolling it in because it would get tangled up and things like that, then it would mess up your sound and all that type of stuff. And again, we came from cassette, you went to CD. That was a hell of a lot more convenient. Then you go from CD to now digital, which is even more convenient because now you ain't got to worry about scratches on your CD. So it's just the same thing with how gaming is. It evolves. It's just what it is. So yeah. Oh man, that's quite a few chats in here. I'll be congratulations. He said, my boy Mike Johnson came back. I'm waiting for you on that cross play. Hey man, listen, I'm coming. I'm coming. Tonight I'm going to be on my tech and 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 then whatever else after that I will. I'm going to be doing my fight night early. So because every time that I miss a day that I say that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it that next day. So again, I missed doing fight night last night because of the basketball games. And I know the Thunder plays again tonight, but I'm not even going to watch the Thunder Mavericks game. I don't even think that Luka and them don't even going to be playing. So it's not going to be worth watching, in my opinion. So I'll be going a little bit early. And then if I'm playing Street Fighter, I might play some Street Fighter, might play some Mortal Kombat and get cooked because I am so out of the loop with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Golly, I haven't played Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter not too long ago, about it's been a minute. It's been like 2 months ago, but I was getting cooked, and I was like, "Good grief, man!" But I was playing with character. I was playing with Terry Bogard, and I really didn't know what I was doing with him. So yeah, no, I need to get back that practice. I haven't done fight night traditionally in months. So, yeah, so I got to get back to it. And so yeah, the only thing that I was only playing consistently was Tekken, and I ain't played Tekken in like 2 months. So I got it. So everything. So tonight I might be a cookie for me, but hey, I'm gonna be on it tonight. I'm gonna be on it. So, what'd you say? You said you would go. I'm going to pay $70. $70 for what? I'm not paying $70 for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is $48 on through CD Keys. And I think it's another place. If you looking for some good deals, and you know that there's a game that you're going to buy, that game will be pre-orders is probably the best way to go on through CD Keys or GG Deals or I forget the other one, Green Man or whatever like that. Yeah, so you can get good, and even like I said, Steam. I wish that. See, I don't mind the Epic Store, but the Epic Store is just too damn expensive, man. They be asking they be asking for game. I'm like looking at these prices. I'm like, man, do you not see what your competition is doing? Like that's the reason why I think a lot of people, if they would kind of go, go hard to paint on, against Steam and bring out some really good deals. Like just because you're giving out some free games don't mean that, because some of those games don't pass the smell test. Sometimes they come out with some really cool stuff, but yeah, no, I just don't. And also Humble Bumble. I think that if people do have a gaming PC, y'all be sleeping on. A lot of people I think sleep on Humble Bumble. They got some good deals too. I mean, I love their so I'll be doing. There'll be times here going forward that I'll be giving giveaways because there's some games that I already have, or maybe games that I don't even really care about that I get from Humble Bumble. That I'll be doing some giveaways for those. For my PC players out there, and things like that. So, and I'll be getting back to doing giveaways and stuff like that again. Like I said, I'm going to be doing this content thing heavily this year. So, let's see. Yeah. So no, but I'm not paying $70 for the Final Fantasy Rebirth. No, it's $48, and I think for their like deluxe edition, I think it was like 60. Something like that, 60. So I forgot what was all in there. If I look and I read it again and it's like some extra DLC or something like that, like I don't care about no audio book or anything like that. For that type of stuff, I like hard copies. So like for like collectors, I think that hard copies are important. Not so much because they don't even really put so much the disc in these collectors, but like for audio books, albums, like there was one game I picked up. It had an actual album and it was pretty cool. And I have it in there. I haven't even opened it. So I like stuff like that, but not for just regular standard games just to have the box, because if they shut the game down, then it's nothing more than a coaster. So to me, it's just making a mess. Um, you said, told you, yeah, man. Listen, I know, I got you, 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 Cipher. I know, man. But listen, man, been going through a lot last year, and then on top of that, just man, just been in and out, just zoning in, zoning out. There'll be times that I'll be playing some games and zone in and lock myself into that game, and then when I get into it, like I just get into it. And Street Fighter was just not in that place. Like when I did get into my fighting, when I wanted to play a fighter, it was Tekken. That's it. That's my sanctuary. So I played a lot of Tekken between my Xbox and my PC. So yeah. So anyway, you said put these CD keys in the put these CD keys in the description, bro. Hold on. Let me go look. Let me see if I can go put that up right now. See if I can find it. To do that. I need to do that. Matter of fact, I'll do. I don't have to do that now. I'll do that when um, when I get done with it. You know, that's another thing too, is that I don't know why this. That's why the reason why I didn't use it. I went with OBS yesterday, because for some reason it doesn't translate when I post that I'm going to do the show on YouTube. It doesn't. It doesn't go live there. And then I guess I don't know why, because it's still coming from the same place where I would have it go live. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's weird. I gotta test some things out and try to figure all that stuff out, but I will. So but yeah, I'll put CD keys in the description after I get done with this. And so because I'm gonna have to redo this, I'm sure, on YouTube and when I have to repost it or whatever. So I'll put CD keys in the link in the description. And I'll GG Deals is also a good place to go as well. Like I said, there's a couple of good places to go, but and sometimes when you don't look, when you see deals, you jump on them. Not always, but like during that week, they will go up. So or the couple of days before, when that game's about to get ready to go up, they'll go up in price. So if it's if you got the money the couple of weeks before, and you know you're gonna get that game, just go ahead and lock it down. That's another thing to be paying attention to. Okay, so all that said and done, let's get to here and talk about PlayStation, man. All right, so you know, I've said this, and I'm going to continue to keep saying this. I said I've been on this kick for a very long time about how PlayStation is operated. And one of the reasons why, as a person who was a diehard PlayStation, I would say I was a PlayStation stan myself at one point in time. I was diehard PlayStation dude. You could tell me nothing about PlayStation, no wrong about PlayStation. But then reality started to hit me around the PlayStation 3 generation. And I mean, and then the fan, at the time was my PlayStation brethren, they would turn on me. You know, when I sit down and tell the truth about what happened with the whole thing that happened in 2010 or 2009 or whatever, with the whole hacking situation or whatever. And then when I was saying, oh, look, I tried to, my money got taken out of my account. And then, Sony wanted to, they wouldn't want to work with me. They wanted to try to pull some kind of fast one, had to put lawyers involved and all this other stuff. And they was like, oh, that's not true. And that's not the guy. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, millions of people went through this. Like, what are you talking about? There was no hacking situation, and they didn't offer these games. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it just tripped me out. And that's when I kind of realized about, like, okay, there's psychopaths over there. Like, there's psychopaths everywhere. Don't get it twisted. Seeing how PlayStation was operating, and I'm just kind of like, listen, man, it's a loyal PlayStation dude. I have been there from the very beginning, bought all these games. I tout PlayStation, this, that, and the third. And yeah, now this Xbox, this OG Xbox thing is pretty cool, but I'm still a PlayStation dude. But the PlayStation 3 changed everything. And every time that I would sit there and I would tell some of the old homeboys, some of the old homeboys that aren't around now, or I haven't talked to in years, and some of the homeboys that now, they're still diehard PlayStation fans. Like, I say something to them, whatever. I don't ever tell them get an Xbox or any crazy shit like that. They'll always tell me I need to get back on PlayStation and all that crazy stuff. But if I say something about, they ask me a question on something and I tell them, and they don't like it, then they were like, man, see, that's why you an Xbox dude. I gotta stop asking you. But I'm like, what are you talking about? It has nothing to do with me being an Xbox dude. You asked me a question because I know more about this stuff about gaming than you do. That's why you asked. And so, like, there could be something about like a certain game, or like they get so hot about Game Pass. I mean, they would swear that Game Pass is the same thing as PlayStation Plus. I swear. I even my little after we had when we had our Christmas we had a Christmas get together. My little cousin came over here and wanted to play some games, and he was sitting there and was like, oh man, he's like, man, he saw the library of PlayStation games I had, and he was like, man, he's like, well, how many games you got on the Xbox? And so he's seen it. He was like, oh man, so he wanted to try it out, whatever. And he says, what's this Game Pass stuff? He says it's just like PlayStation Plus, right? Like, nah, bro, it's different. What you mean? He even sit there and tried to argue me down and say it's the same thing. I said, brother, it is not the same thing. And then so he goes through and he looks at the Xbox lineup, and he looks at I should say Game Pass lineup. And he's like, that's on PlayStation 2. I said, the PlayStation's right there. Cut it on, bro. And he's like, he got mad. And then he didn't want to play no more. And I'm just kind of like, bro, it's not that serious. What are you mad for? That's what I'm saying. The psychopath is the psychology, right? So this is where I'm saying all this to say this. PlayStation dudes are so delusional. Not everybody. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of content creators out there, and I know that there's some that tells the truth to their listeners. But the ones that we know in our stratosphere, they lie their ass off, and they will shut their ass up in the very heartbeat if there's some bad news or seriously bad news. There's some out there that's being more open. You know, I give them credit for it. They've evolved a little bit. But for the majority of them, they just put their head in the sand and get quiet like church mice. They don't say nothing. They just want it to go away. And then what even makes me more frustrated is that you have the gaming media that, and again, I understand it because of the fact that the person that is in charge of IGN, and now IGN is goddamn near all of gaming media, was a former Sony guy. So again, you know, this is what this is. And most of the people that are that in the gaming space, they are PC or they are Nintendo or PlayStation people. That's it. That's it. So it is what it is, right? But this craziness right here, where you see, I'm gonna take you back in time. There was a game called Scalebound. Just one game. And it got so much press, so much hoopla. It was the only talk that there was. Even to this day, it still bothers me that Scalebound got canceled. It was so bad for Xbox at that time. So bad. It was so bad that the Xbox, blaming Phil Spencer and Xbox, instead of blaming once it all came out, or didn't do enough, didn't check and do enough information to sit there and bring up the fact that that it was Platinum Games' fault. It was the guy that was in charge of Platinum Games that was over there bullshitting. It was crazy, but that was just one game that got canceled, right? At that time. That got canceled with Xbox, which was Lionhead Studios, and then that's the whole thing about Fable and all that, right? And you know, Peter Lemieux was upset, and you know, he talked a little trash and all that. That was big, huge news. PlayStation's 5 generation, gen. We're not even fully done with this gen yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done yet. Well, hold on. Let me put that in. You're absolutely right. Never go full pony. Never go full stand. But this generation, ladies and gentlemen, hold on. I got to show it. I got to show it. Just because. Oh man, I know I have it. I gotta show it. Or maybe I gotta go to my what you call it. That's fine if I have to, but I gotta show it. This is generation. There's up to like 12, 13 games that got canceled. And what? 8, sets what 6 to 8 studios, 5 to 8 studios shut down from Sony this generation. All the leaks that the media refused to talk about, but then yet talked about the Valve leaks, talked about the Xbox leaks, talked about any other leaks, but they refused to not talk about the Insomniac leaks, the media, the gaming media. And right now I've kind of looked through, like I said, I was playing this right here as you see. And I went through and I was like, hold on, I want to see if there was more media bringing up the stuff about the closures and the layoffs for PlayStation. Nah, Jack. Still isn't that much, if not anything at all, except for what people, the content creators, and for what the people in the chats are talking about and things like that. This is what I'm talking about when I said that this is the worst generation for PlayStation in its history. I've said this 2 years ago. I gave a little thought process about it about 3 years ago, and I was like, you know what, the lineup is not too bad. It's not bad, but it's not what I would expect from PlayStation at this point about 3 years ago. But then I started to see the red flags, and then I started to question it, and then that's when I started saying, man, this generation doesn't seem like it's doing very well. Then they brought out the Spider-Man 2, and then they brought out the God of War, and then you're like, okay, and then, pretty good. Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff. And then, of course, that kind of died over from, PlayStation is now back to now we're looking at that where people are now touting games like Baldur's Gate 3 that these stands never will play, never did play, that aren't exclusive first parties, that are timed exclusives, or not even really truly exclusives, but only just the mere fact that they're not being talked about. I mean, like that they're being talked about as though that there are even through the system, some kind of exclusive. It's just nuts. It's just absolutely bizarre. Doing it with a Black Myth Wukong. Well, it still ain't on Xbox yet, so it's still an exclusive play. Really? You're going to sit there and talk about a game that plays like dog shit on PlayStation 5? That gives you up to 20 some frames per second? Are you kidding me? You got to buy a $700 console in order for it to play halfway decent? And you don't see a problem with this as plentiful and rich as what PlayStation gave you with the PlayStation 4 generation. It was lackluster in the beginning, but then it revved up. It kind of slowed down a little bit. That's when the media was over there kissing that ass, talking about sparse is good, and then PlayStation let it rip, and then there was no denying it. PlayStation just dominated with the gaming content. It was a thing to behold. It was a lot of our knees getting beat the hell up, and we was fighting for our damn lives as Xbox gamers, listening to stands being full tilt, coming in at full power, 9,000, 10,000. We over here at 2,000, fighting hard, getting happy because State of Decay beat out a week or two of God of War. We had a win, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little. We cut them a little bit. We nicked them, but there was no denying that the PlayStation was just dog walking Xbox when it came to the first party content, other than Gears. But then at that point it was Halo, Gears, and Forza. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it really wasn't a winning strategy at any point because the media wouldn't allow it. That's when you started to see the turncoats from the so-called Xbox podcast to get out there, start changing it up. Then you started seeing some people started believing into the turncoats, and then it became what it became until the Series X got announced. And then till the acquisition started. But for PlayStation to be in this position now and have over these many games being canceled and these many studios and these many developers being laid off, and also having the roots, the foundation of what made PlayStation great are gone. Come on. You mean to tell me that you still think that you saying 5-1 means anything to really anybody that sees it from not from blue lenses or just all green lenses, but just looking at it from a gamer perspective, looking forward and saying, "Oh, PlayStation's fine." When you know that whole meme where the dog is sitting there saying everything is fine and there's fire all around it, bro. I've been trying to let PlayStation stands know this from a minute for a minute. There's a fire coming, and PlayStation caused it, and the PlayStation stand community caused it. When y'all started, when PlayStation, it worked for them during last gen. It was perfect. It would almost put Xbox. It almost sent Xbox away, sent them to being that third party that people keep on saying that it's going to happen or whatever, which it's not. But it almost happened. Because they talked and bragged about the single player. The media was right behind it. Once they had Overwatch, and Overwatch sit there and did its thing and won game of the year, and then the gaming media was like, oh no, once he was talking about live service games, no, single player is the most important thing. That's all that they wanted to talk about. That's all that won. And that's all that and PlayStation was the king of the single player experience. They would let Nintendo win a few things because Nintendo was cute. And it ain't a threat until Nintendo showed that they really were a threat to Sony. It's Xbox that's the threat because of those pesky live service and multiplayer games. And EA and Ubisoft and everybody else is evil because they want to do this. And then knowing that while everybody is saying this craziness, more and more PlayStation gamers is sitting here looking like, damn, this free-to-play game, man, I'm having a good time with it. And I ain't have to pay for it. It was cool when games was $60, but these games are $70. It was all cool when you sit there and you had the Horizon Zero Dawns and the God of Wars 2018 and the Spider-Man's 2018s and the Uncharted's and you had this and that and the third. And yeah, it was all good then. But for some reason, it ain't resonating with the PlayStation fan base right now. You know why? It's because live services is the lifeblood, like I said earlier, of the gaming industry. It's no so you stands out there that went out there, you gaming media people out there, you better give Phil Spencer and you better give that former CEO of EA a goddamn apology because they were right. They've been right. Everybody who can see it, that the lifeblood of gaming is multiplayer live service games. Yes, single player games is always going to be important and they're great. But you know what? Sean Layton told us this, and we should have listened to that back in 2018 or 2019, whenever he was gone. He was gone from Sony. And when he said, listen, man, like these games is unsustainable, man. They cost too much. They cost too much. Now, he also said the Game Pass, if Game Pass doesn't hit 100 million, it's not sustainable. Now, so he can't bat 1,000. But what he did bat 1,000 was knowing, as he was the former CEO of PlayStation, he knew exactly what was the lifeblood. And again, when you had talent like what PlayStation had from the Andrew Houses, the Adam Boyes, the Jack Trentons, and you got Mark Cerny that's still there. I don't know how long. But then now you lose Yoshida, Jim Ryan, for what he was doing at his time. He's there now. I know that the guy that's there, he's an old head too. The guy that's the CEO now. But how long is he's going to be there? This is, I'm seeing people sitting here bring up and saying, like, man, maybe Mikey Barra need to come and save Sony. Sony is in trouble. PlayStation is in trouble, Jack. Listen, and we're not even going to talk about the movies aspect. Like that whole multiverse thing. Like Disney's over here licking their chops. Bro, keep failing. What y'all going to keep doing? Craving all this money that they spending, and then for all the games that they spent the money on these live service games, it was well over $1 billion. know the actual amount of how much money that they lost because these games were in production. They weren't talked about. They weren't just in a room sitting there saying, you know what, we could do this, do that. They were in production. They were working. They hired people that were working on MMOs, and they killed MMOs that had the potential. I mean, MMOs, but live service games that had the potential to be goddamn strong. Like that Last of Us game sounded fire. Like, I mean, Factions was dope. It was just, it just needed the proper TLC. And I think that it would have been really, really good. That Spider-Man MMO or live service game man, that shit looked crazy. That looked real fun. I would have sit there and maybe I would have had, and you know what I'm saying, if they didn't put that on PC, I would have went ahead and said, okay, man, let me go ahead and think about this PlayStation Pro for that. Because I mean, he would probably run like trash on the PlayStation 5. But maybe not. Maybe not. Insomniac knows what they're doing. So again, it's one of these things to me is like Twisted Metal, you would take away Twisted Metal. Now, again, I still think that you would need you would need the person to sit there and Jaffe to sit there to be there. I think because I mean, listen, you could try to bring another developer in there, but I mean, you would think that you would hit up David Jaffe and sit there and say, listen, man, can you oversee a little bit of this? You know what I'm saying? Because that was his baby, and he did a fantastic job with Twisted Metal. But you don't bring that. At least you don't even let that touch the service. And then when you have the studio that brought that, I forgot what the game was that failed. Are you kidding me? Stop it. Sony is in trouble, Jack. Is Sony going to close doors? Is PlayStation going to close the doors? No. Is the console going to fade away and die? No. They might be going to stop making consoles here soon, here in the next, maybe after this next generation. They'll probably be over for all consoles at that point in time. But the lifeblood of what PlayStation has made their games to be is the single player experience. And I see that these PlayStation stands and they're like, oh, good, we got rid of the live service. Do you really think that because I mean, because again, Sony doesn't do itself favors not only for themselves, but they don't do favors for their fans. Because if they're talking, because all Take-Two has to do is drop Grand Theft Auto 6 at $80. And we will see that people will buy that game for $80. It ain't going to be no question, no doubt about it. They will do it. It is what it is, right? They will do it. Well, Sony is going to feel like they left out. That's $20 that they could add on. They won't get the first big initial sales from the get, but man, when we bring back God of War, whatever, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit them over the head with the $80. And people are gonna say, you out of your damn mind. The only thing PlayStation is guaranteed is that people will buy their consoles. That's all they're guaranteed. People aren't buying their games. How is it that they're winning? And you're talking about 5-1, but every other number with them is down. First party games down. The money generated down. It's multiplats and third party games that's over here is making them look as good as they do. It's not first party titles. Helldivers is a great game, and Helldivers 2 sit there and it was a bright spot. But you know why it was a bright spot? Because it was day one on PC. And we are at a point now to where I think some PlayStation content creators and some PlayStation gamers are starting to see the writing on the wall about, maybe we need to stop talking about exclusives the way that we do and let Sony go ahead and put these games day and date. And then you still got the ones that say it don't make any sense, it's not feasible because they're going to lose money. No, they're not. How are they going to lose money? It values the console. No, it doesn't. Because you're still going to have PlayStation gamers that buys only a PlayStation. But you're going to have console gamers that's going to, we've seen in the chat, that is evolved and is saying, listen, I don't want to pay $700 plus for a console when I keep seeing what PC's giving. I don't want to see when I can have my phone and my phone can sit there and play a game at 4K and if I buy me a new television and you mean to tell me that I can sit there and play my cell phone game on my television? And that's my cell phone. Like I can use that for everything else. It's just like with a PC, right? Like you could just sit there and use your PC as it's more than just your gaming place. You know what I'm saying? You use it for all different other type of stuff. Just like so, a cell phone again. So again, that's what I'm trying to sit here and trying to paint this picture to you guys and for the PlayStation people that's listening. Like this shit is serious. Is in a bad spot right now because of a fan base, a gaming media, and a company that sit there and try to make single player games the lifeblood of gaming when it wasn't. It was very pop. They're very popular, but when you really perspective and you really look at it, out as many games that comes out within the year, and we're talking about there's thousands of games that comes out each year. Out of those thousands of games, how many of those are single player that sits there that's in that top 10 every year, every month? Very few. Very few. So Sony, yeah, they're going to have to cut back. Yoshida even said that. He alluded to it. We all know this. And productions of these games is going to take a lot longer. So now when you look at this and you think about this from a real perspective, right? Like, so now they're going back to the drawing board. So let's say that they're working on the next single player games or whatever. And well, they want to have PlayStation single player games have that high standard of like they've always had, right? It's not going to take 2 or 3 years for them to make. And usually these games take up to 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Hell, we're looking at maybe games now with budgets and stuff like that. Like Sony will give a budget to God of War. Sony will give a budget to The Last of Us. Sony will give a budget maybe to Uncharted. But Sony is not going to give a budget to let's see. I'm trying to think. Well, they may give a big budget to Ghost of Tsushima. We'll see what this new Ghost game does. I'm sure it will do well. But again, you also got to put in the factor of that you got these weirdos out here that keeps talking about everything negative about gaming if it doesn't pertain of a certain group or race or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, there's some of the games that some of us that are been hoping that Sony would bring to the table. We might not ever get to see or hear again unless we buy an old PlayStation to sit there and go play those games like the Mark of the Cree. That would be a fantastic game to bring back. People have been asking for Siphon Filter for a very long time. Why was that not one of the games to be in those live service games? That's a perfect game. Perfect game to come out with. They should have never They should have stayed with Twisted Metal, but they should have sit there and had like I said, and I feel strongly about that. David Jaffe should have had his hands on that game. You know what I'm saying? Maybe David Jaffe maybe didn't want to, but I'm sure that it was his baby. I think he would love to, but maybe they don't have a great relationship. I have no idea. Who knows? I mean, just like kind of like with Peter Molyneux and with Fable, like he'll never get to mess with another Fable again. So I mean, maybe it could be that type of relationship. I have no idea, but I just think that there's plenty of games that PlayStation has. Like, I mean, okay, think about this Warhawk for a second. I don't know how many of you guys remember Warhawk. Warhawk. Oh yeah, Spider. Well, no, they're cutting the budget on Spider-Man. So Spider-Man released earlier than it needed, so that 2023 didn't seem so bad. That game was a broken mess at launch. See, again, I heard a lot, and that game was really short. A game when you're paying that type of money for a game, you should not have that game beaten by a weekend. See, people was talking all this trash about they were talking all this trash about Hellblade, right? Why are you talking about Hellblade when Hellblade was a $40 game? What was it, $40, $50 game? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on now. What are we talking about? So You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, it can be done. It can be beaten. I mean, I don't know how somebody could have beat it in 3 hours, unless they, you know what I'm saying? If they, I don't know how they could have done that. I mean, it took me what, 10, 8 to 10, 8 to 12, something like that. I couldn't anywhere from there. But that's a difference. We're talking about a $70 title, maybe I think 100, what was it, like 80 to 100 or whatever, for the Ultimate Edition, whatever the case may be. Then it was broken, it wasn't up to par, and it didn't get the same type of acclaim as 2018 Spider-Man. And oh, stop it. So yeah, so that, and then that budget was like $350 million. Holy moly! You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, Spider-Man, they cut that. They already said that they was cutting back on that. So man, we're it's some strange times, really strange times. Hold on, let me go there. I finally found it. Sit there and put that right here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. That's 12 games right there. We don't know. We haven't seen the fair games. Hopefully that game will still come out. We know that the marathon's going to come out. The marathon's going to be a multi-plat. That's coming on Xbox. But look at this. Arrowhead game. Well, okay. Helldivers 2. That made it. That was successful. And that was successful because of PC. Damn sure what it didn't do that. It did decent on PlayStation. Nah, PC is where it was, and then PlayStation. That's why PlayStation got greedy and wanted to show those numbers and locked a whole bunch of people out who bought it because of the PSN guard. The big studio. See, this is what drives me crazy, right? You canceled this, and I guess it was supposed to be coming out here in 2025, and this could have been this could have been Days Gone too. This should have been Days Gone too. The Blue Point. A lot of people was thinking that this was the remaster to maybe Bloodborne or something else. It was a God of War games as a service. I don't listen. Anything God of War, I'm cool with. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but you damn sure believe that they were paying they paid a good penny to sit there and work on that game. And it could. I can't wait to find, because you know that they'll well, maybe we don't know, but if there's leaks and stuff like that, I can't wait to see them, to see what those, because again, when those leaks came out and when they showed Spider-Man, I'm like, yo, that Spider-Man games and service, live service looks so damn fun. The premise seemed really dope. It seemed really cool. I don't know. Payback got canceled. That was Bungie. Okay, so Marathon, they're over here saying question mark. Marathon might not come out in 2025, but if Marathon gets canceled, then man, Bungie is in real trouble. I think everything is riding on Marathon. I really do. I think everything is riding on Marathon. For Bungie, because if Marathon doesn't hit, Bungie is officially getting taken over. And it you know what I'm saying, like it probably will keep the name, but the guts will be completely different. Yeah, they will take that over. Okay, so this other game, the Payback, the Twisted Metal game, I don't know, but I mean okay, so that's Fire Sprite. I was going to say, what is that the same studio that worked on Concord? But I guess not. No, Concord's banned. And I said this about Concord. I thought that when they showed the trailer of Concord, it reminded me of the Guardians of the Galaxy game from Square Enix. And I thought that was going to be the premise of it, kind of like there was going to be kind of like a single, maybe co-op game, and then to have you to get familiar with the characters. Then they were going to do the TV anime thing or whatever that they were going to do with that, and then to get people familiar with the characters and all that. And then they were going to introduce the multiplayer. And I gotta give shout out to Sir X-Man on that, because Sir X-Man has been saying that that's where Sony needs to get to, is trying to do what Xbox does with Halo, Gears, and and that type of thing where you got your single player, but you got, and I understand that Sony did try to do it with, I mean, but they were kind of half-assed. You want to make it more robust. Like Uncharted, it was actually wasn't that bad, but it was, you know, you could tell. And then Factions was really cool, but it didn't get it was more of a, you know, underground type of thing. So, you know, it was one of those sleeper hit games that never took off. And I don't know. But anyway, the Horizon Online title, I think that would have been really cool. I think that could have been a resurgence, because even after Horizon Forbidden West, I think if you did it this way, to where you create your own character, get into this world, I think everybody loves the combat and the idea of Horizon. But I think that like saying, and I don't understand why. I mean, I think Aloy is an okay character. I mean, she's not the best character, but she's not a bad character in my opinion. But I think that it's just that a game like that could add more weight by having players create their own player, jump in there, and then get into that world and do all the things that you could do with like you could with Aloy. And I think that would have been fun. I would have played it. This Fair Games, the you know, from what they showed, it looked like it had promise. Don't know. This is Insomniac, the Great Web. That looks sensational. That was probably my favorite thing from everything that I see on this list. And then London Studios, which got shut down. AAA new IP fantasy multiplayer title. Have no idea what it would have been. That's crazy. And then, of course, Naughty Dog, the Last of Us Factions Online. Like, come on, bro. Like, if Xbox had one cancellation, and it was talked about for years. They had the biggest studio at the time was Lionhead Studios. Talked about it for months, almost a couple of years, not as much as they talked about Scale Down. And this is the situation that's going on. Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think that there's a lot of promise there, but it's just, to me, it's more of those things. It's just like, it's crazy. Horizon Zero Dawn was pretty good. Great new IP for the PlayStation 4 gen. I thought Forbidden West, and I have to be Forbidden West. I thought Forbidden West was really was good. I you know what I'm saying, so much. And sometimes not every game has to have this overall great, super compelling story. I understand that but Sony's not going to bat 1,000 with every story game. You know, there's other fact. Like, what I liked about Horizon was the gameplay. The gameplay was fantastic to me. I love the gameplay with it. You know, and I like the world. I thought that whole thing of Horizon was really, really fun to me. So, yeah, I don't know, man. You sit here and you look at this and you see that list, and you come out and you say, well, no, that's a positive. No, it's not. That's a lot of money that was invested. These games were canceled in production, not talked about and then cans. These were in production in all cans. That's except for one row, well, two. So you got 10. So yeah, no, man, and then all the layoffs, and then the old school vets that held PlayStation down, they're pretty much almost all gone. It's a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on. Let me see what Mike just said. He says, I have an OG Xbox. I have 2 Xbox 360s. I have a Xbox Fire Stick, and I will buy the Xbox Prime if the price is right. Right? Like, I mean, I'm going to buy the Xbox regardless if the price is right or not. Because I got all these games on my Xbox. I'm not there. There's I'm invested like that. So it's just not I'm locked in. But PlayStation, I don't have that. My library, my PlayStation library is building on my PC now. So I'm the last game that I bought. It was a unknown title which I haven't even started to play yet. It was a kind of a smaller title. It was one of those things one of those those Japanese games that don't ever come to Xbox, and it looked really good. And I said, oh, you know what? I caught it on sale and I picked it up. But that was the last time I bought some on PlayStation. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Everything I've been buying now for PlayStation has been on my PC. So um, that's where I'm at. So because my library is what it is. I mean, and it's substantially smaller than what my Xbox library is, and so I'm not moving around. So that's my thing. So yeah. Um, so Microsoft could do a comeback like the PS3 did, but Microsoft don't care about consoles anymore. I don't think that. I think that they care about the console. I think that they just see the writing on the wall about where the console is headed. That's the whole thing. And I think with PlayStation, they coveted the console, which I mean, of course, because I mean that's their lifeblood. Uh, in with PlayStation, of course. But they're going to have to evolve. I mean, I think that like I did see some PlayStation people really come out to the reality of saying, "Look, man, I'm just going to have to come up to the fact of saying, like, look, man, they got to put some games day and date on PC. It's just what it is. It's not like it's not taken away. It's just like what we're having the conversation with Xbox guys with when they did it in 2016. Like, I'm like, how is it hurting you? And maybe even Sony could make them an app store, not an app store so much, but make them a storefront on PC, or have them a position of where they can, do play anywhere or something like that. Give a little extra incentive. Because listen, just hearing all this different stuff about, well, it's going to cost more money and it's going to do all that. Man, listen, they're not. These games aren't selling like they were on PlayStation. So again, that edit that and yeah, maybe they don't sell as much as some people may think that they should on PC. But just think about that extra. And another reason is that's because a lot of people may have already owned a PlayStation and then they bought it on PlayStation and like, I'll wait for a sale, or just to see how it looks or it performs, or I've already played it and beat it and I don't want to play it and beat it again. I don't want to spend any more money for it. I already played it on the PlayStation. Right. And so when you sit here and you look at people saying, well, that's the reason why Sony's doing it the way they do it. Yeah, the strategy was smart then. It's not smart now, because PlayStation gamers aren't buying the games like that. So you're going to need the excitement when that game, like let's say Wolverine, for instance, right? You have Wolverine come day and date on PlayStation and PC. Best believe that there's going to be people that the PlayStation gamers will buy it on PlayStation because they don't have a gaming PC or don't care to have a gaming PC, and PC gamers will be buying that game day one at full price at $70. So PlayStation's making more money. Yeah, maybe it might cost a little bit more money for production, but and you can definitely do that to where you can have two different studios work on the port and work on the original game on at the same time. So I don't think that anybody should really think about it as it's going to hurt. So it's not, because I mean, really, you think about a game like Horizon or anything like that. Well, Xbox, they're not selling consoles. They might not be selling consoles, but they're selling the hell out of software. Phil has alluded to that a million times. A lot of people at Xbox has said that a million times. Like, don't. They're selling content and they're selling their software at a record pace. And so when they drop some of these games out here, that's going to be day and date on other consoles, yeah, that ain't, yeah, that's something to clown about. But hell, they're gonna make their money because they get full price. And the difference is on that, other than other places, is that Xbox got Game Pass. And I think that that's their strategy of saying, look, for Xbox gamers that want to stay put, they got Game Pass to fall back on, to where if they pissed off because they hear this from social media and from media and stuff like that and things of that nature, they always got Game Pass to fall back on, because that's the true Xbox exclusive. So it is what it is. PlayStation needs something like that, man. I just say that this old way of thinking is it only helps. Nintendo, it helps. But it ain't helping. It ain't helping PlayStation. It ain't gonna help PlayStation. People are gonna say, well, what about What about the Ghost of Tsushima? That's going to sell. That's going to sell well. But if that sells less than what the first Ghost of I guess it's Ghost of Yotori or whatever, if it sells less than Ghost of Tsushima, then I mean Tushima or however you want to pronounce it, then that's a problem. Then it's telling you something, right? Like, so I don't know, man. Like, God of War is the only game that is sold more out of all the sequels that's come out on the PlayStation 5. God of War is the only one. Spider-Man didn't catch Spider-Man 2018. Horizon didn't. Gran Turismo didn't outsell Sport. So I mean, so I mean, something's amiss here. So that's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying here. Now, I mean, I know that they had Gran Turismo on a sale for $19, so hopefully that kicked it up. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here, and that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for Gran Turismo to come over here to PC so I can go ahead and enjoy it. So, you know, you said, hold on, let me see what you guys are saying. You're saying that Sony will just money hack games to hide its weakness. Oh, they're dude. I mean, Yoshida already kind of alluded to it. Hell, you got content creators, PlayStation content creators that's over here trying to help out Sony, and you also got the media over here trying to help out Sony. Oh, you just remastered. Just think about this for a second. Just think about if an Xbox content creator came out and said, let's say that Xbox was going through this same scenario, right, with all these games being shut down, right, and on top of the layoffs that they had, and they bought ABK, and ABK has put them in such a bad spot like that to where they have all these cancellations. And then you hear a Xbox content creator come out and say, well, all Xbox has to do is bring some remasters and remakes and they'll be fine. Oh my goodness. Do you know what kind of cook session? It would be a weenie roast. You know, the stands would sit there and replay what that content creator would keep saying, but yet I keep seeing content creators, I keep seeing media, gaming media people sit here and try to give them this lifeline of saying, yeah, remakes will save the day. What? I mean, hell, have we seen what the remakes do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not the remakes, but yeah, the remasters and the remakes. And I mean, The Last of Us, and there was nothing different. It was just better visuals, and they were asking for more money. What are you talking about? That ain't the winning strategy. Yeah, they're going to money hat. They got no choice but the money hat. And matter of fact, this is what's the craziest thing. But, you know, Phil and them said this because there was a discussion years ago where they were saying, well, what if Xbox, you know, would you want to be the dominant only one, over PlayStation and Nintendo? And he was like, no, if they were in trouble, we would help them because we feel that it's important that gamers enjoy gaming everywhere. He said that a long time ago last gen. I remember him saying that. And look at what Xbox is going to do. That's what's going to help save Sony, because those are going to be some new IPs for a lot of PlayStation people who's never played those games on Xbox. So if they do drop if they do drop Halo Gears and that stuff, that's helping Sony stay alive. Now the Xbox is going to be benefiting. Now what's going to be crazy is if Sony is going through such a crazy situation to where they don't have content that PlayStation gamers want, and then Xbox games get over there on PlayStation and they are thriving. That is a whole nother can of worms, because it doesn't mean that a PlayStation person is going to buy an Xbox, but that goddamn means that they're going to be on Xbox ecosystem. That ain't gonna be on. They'll be on their PlayStations, but they'll be on Xbox's ecosystem, playing those games, spending money into Xbox, buying those skins, enjoying those and enjoying those games. So again, when you look at the business strategy of what Xbox is doing, it is genius. It isn't what I like, but it is genius in the grand scheme of things. It's genius. Because what you're doing, you're squeezing them from every position. You're like saying, yeah, Xbox is going to be done in 2027. Nah, bro. They're only going to get stronger. because they're going to add more fans to their games. Maybe not to the Xbox, but they're going to add more fans to their games. And software has always been king over the hardware. It is always been that way. It will continue to be that way. So we'll see. Anyway, guys, I think that, I've rambled enough, but I just think that like what PlayStation is going through right now, it is not something to sit there and to keep saying that everything is fine and it's good and it's hunky dory. I think that more PlayStation people need to get out there and need to start expressing their expressing their nervousness about, like, look, man, just get it right. Just get it fixed. I understand that you want your single player games, but are y'all willing to sit there and pay those games? And I wish that PlayStation would be a little bit more transparent too. Again, they could be getting away and letting the media talk for them. But Sony's going to have to sit there and do something. If they sit there and they go up here and tell you, hey, we're going to make these, this next God of War, this next game here is going to be $80. Good luck. Because people are going to be saying, nah, fam, I'm not doing it. So let me see what my boy Mike Johnson said. He said, instead of both companies making games, Microsoft Vine Studio, to hire their weakness, Sony is buying paid exclusives, buying exclusives. That's the weakness, I think you're trying to say. Yeah, no, I mean, that's Xbox has lost the capacity of advertising the console properly. They are so hit and miss with it. They're great when they first initially going to announce something. Like, I mean, what they did with the Series X was absolutely goddamn incredible, right? Like, it was great. You had probably, to me, the best Xbox event in June ever. That was outstanding. It had everybody buzzing, and then Gamescom they just obliterated themselves by sitting there, was too quick and eager to talk about Indiana Jones going to PlayStation when Xbox gamers was so hype and the momentum was there. And now you got maybe people that was like, oh man, this Indiana Jones look fire. I got to go give me an Xbox. You see all these games that they were showing on television and stuff like that, man. I did get some calls because they seen that, some people seen it online and stuff like that. Like, man, Xbox is over there, got some games over there. Yeah, I know. Are they exclusive? I mean, are they only on Xbox? I'm assuming. And then, next thing you know, you're like, oh man, I might have to get an Xbox for this game, for that game, for this, that, for whatever I've heard. And then next thing you know, they hurried up the announcement of a game like that. And so when that information went quick throughout the ether, what I'm saying? Keeley was excited as hell to sit there and to talk about that. Like, and I stopped watching Game Coms after that. I was pissed. I was like, what? Come on. Can Xbox gamers have a little moment of enjoyment? Of saying, like, look, man, look, this game's here, but no, you so eager to say this. Hell, can Xbox gamers get the pre-orders going in before you talk about this game coming to PlayStation later? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that type of stuff, that was, I don't know what the hell was the strategy behind that. Because PlayStation does it flawlessly. They don't tell you nothing. We got to find out ourselves so we could tell Xbox gamers that game is going to come, and the media is not going to stress if this game is going to come to Xbox or not, unless there's a content creator that has an interview with one of these devs and then they may ask the question. But other than that, like, the media is not going to go out there and ask the question, hey, is this particular game going to come to Xbox? So not like they do when Xbox games are shown and things of that nature. They are constantly always bringing up, is it going to PlayStation? Is it going to Nintendo? Is it going to PlayStation? Blah, blah, blah. Is it going to PC? Blah, blah, blah. So there you go. It's pretty crazy. It's not a cool situation in my opinion, but I think that but that's where Xbox has the biggest problem in my opinion, is that their advertising is so hit and miss. They when they hit, but then goddamn, sometimes they just go dark and then do what they did about with Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Like I said, and then like you look at a game like Stalker 2, like Stalker 2, I think is supposed to be going to PlayStation, but they don't say anything about Stalker 2. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear anything about Avowed. Like that's I just don't know. Like I mean, Indiana Jones is a bigger game out of those. I think maybe not bigger than Avowed. I have no idea, but I don't know. Like just do it like Sony do. Who cares? Don't say shit. Just sit there and just keep it quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he said, Keely skipped Mecha Break like the Flash when it was a PC Xbox game. But when he said Indiana Jones on PlayStation and Wukong, he was dancing. That's what I'm saying. Like the industry. I mean, there's too many people in the industry that has the big outlets that are PlayStation Pro fans, bro. And I know Xbox knows this, but I mean, that's the thing is where they got leave a little suspense. Leave these guys will be a little bit pissed off. Now, I don't know if they trying to make this, if they kind of do something dirty towards Xbox, if Xbox doesn't give them the information that they want at the time or whatever the case. I have no idea. I don't know. And maybe it could have been a top decision to do that between Disney and Saudi. I have no idea. I don't think it had anything to do with Saudi. I just think that was just the Xbox team just saying, let's just go ahead and let them know so we can get people to want to get excited for the game. But I just thought that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That bugged me. That really did bug me. Let's see what he said the Wukong game, we don't know what's going on. Somebody from Microsoft need to come out and tell us. Well, I said this yesterday. I think one of the secret games, I think that secret game is Wukong. I think that's what it is. I know I'm hearing all these other rumors about Ninja Gaiden and all this other crazy stuff. I don't think it's that. I think it's either going to be Forspoken or it's going to be Black Myth Wukong. I really do. And I think that would be a good look because, like I've said before, I think that Xbox gamers, because I did see a couple of Xbox gamers say that they were going to boycott the game for some stupid ass reason. No, yeah, I know that this whole thing seems a little fishy or dicey because, yes, you can play these games on lesser hardware. The S always, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's just one of those weird things. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the same thing happened with Baldur's Gate, but it eventually definitely going to be coming to Xbox, and so I think that might be that game. But yeah, we'll see. It's going to come out. It's going to come out this year at some point, and it might drop. It could be a shadow drop. It might be 5 things being showed. It might be a bigger an unknown title when the Xbox Direct drops, and then they might say, "Oh, and by the way, here comes Wukong or Forspoken or something like that, or Final Fantasy 16 or something like that." I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But yeah, no, I think we all know that it's coming. So it's just the question of when. So hopefully that they get that all straightened out and we find out, and then we go from there. But I don't know. Let's see. What does it say? They said it was a game series with decades of story. What Wukong? Yeah, no. Okay, so like that was they're saying like it's going to be there's going to be DLC for it, but the next game will not be about the Monkey King. It's going to be just like kind of like their I guess their Japanese lore from not only from that's all up in that from the Monkey King to whatever else that they got going on. Maybe Buddha might be next, or maybe characters that was within Wukong. I think that would be cool too. I mean, the Buddha would be interesting, especially of what the Buddha was doing in there, and of how mysterious the Buddha was in the storyline of the game. So I mean, that's what I read that they were going to do with the series. It's not just pertain to just the Monkey King. I think that they'll do the DLC and that'll be over, and then they'll move on to maybe the Buddha, or maybe the princess, the Spider Queen princesses or whatever. Like I don't know. I can't wait. I can't wait to find out, because I mean I'm all in with this game. I really love that game. So So yeah, we'll see. But Xbox gamers will be in for a treat. There's no question. So when it comes out for Xbox, the most they're getting from me is like $20. Oh well, Cypher, I don't know what to tell you, brother. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. So it ain't gonna be no $20. Now, if they say it's on Game Pass, that's that's a plus. If they sit there and they got that game coming and it's going to be a Play Anywhere title, I'll buy it again. Well, I said I was gonna buy it again, but if it's a Play Anywhere title, I'll buy it. I'll buy it full price again. Because for me, I'll do that. I'll do that for Wukong. I think it's that special of a game for me. But yeah, $20, I think that's being a little harsh on the game. I don't know why. Because if you bought Baldur's Gate, you didn't pay no $20 for it. So that's for damn sure. So let's see. He said at least the people who made Terra called Xbox for help and managed to get the game out last year. Oh, yeah, it did come out this year. And that was such a big deal. Nobody's talking about that game, unfortunately. So I hate that for any game that comes out, but nobody's talking about that game. You bringing up that game, Trina, or however you pronounce that game. Yeah, nobody's talking about it. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, thank you guys for coming, checking me out. I will stream tonight. I promise. I'm going to come in here a little bit earlier. I think I got it set for 9:00. I mean, it's a Friday night. I got to sit there and can't be an old man. Good grief, man. I'm getting old, bro. I'm over here going to bed at grandpa hours. I mean, it was midnight, but still, it was like a little bit. It was 11:30, 11:45, close to midnight, whatever. But still, man. So I plan on being up. Like I said, I'm not watching the Thunder game because that's what got me caught up, was watching the Thunder game. I was so excited about the game. And then it was so thrilling, and I was like, oh, man. And then the other game was really, really good. And I don't know, maybe I just got old and exhausted. And I was like, oh, my God, such a good two good games for me. And then I wanted to watch some highlights and stuff like that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, let me see what time it is. And it's like, yeah, so it was too late. But I'll be getting ready for that. So if you come catch out the stream tonight, I would definitely appreciate it. We'll be starting off with Tekken. I don't know what else we'll be playing after that. But like I said, on the quest finally. I was supposed to do it last night, but on the quest for Tekken God. We'll get to it. So we'll talk to you guys later on. Hope you guys will come through tonight, and we'll be back Tuesday for my thoughts. We'll be doing my thoughts from Tuesday to Friday. On occasionally we might skip Thursdays because I might want to stream 2 different type of games on Thursday. But definitely every part of the week we having my thoughts, saying around 2:30 Central Time. And so yeah, we'll be there. So I hope you guys will be there. We appreciate you guys coming through. Thank you so much. I will see you guys here later on tonight. I promise this time. I'm not going to sleep. Good grief, man. All right, guys. I'll let you later. Peace.